It has been a little while, but I am back. And we are playing Genshin Impact today because they just dropped a whole bunch of new content. And I have been too busy to enjoy said content. So, yeah, I've just been working a lot. So I figured, hey, I'll stream a little bit, chat a little bit, and catch up on the game a little bit. Catch up with all you, find out what's new, what's been going on. All that sort of thing, and just have a good time. So, welcome in. Glad to have everyone here. You are free to talk about whatever you want to talk about today. There is no particular topic on my mind. Bubble's here. Welcome in, Bubble. How's it going? How are you doing today? I take that back. There are a couple particular things on my mind, but we will get to those rants in good time.
Another test subject.
But I gotta wait for everyone to be here before I start ranting, right? It's not fair if I start ranting to one person and not everyone gets to enjoy said rants. So, patience. We're getting there. Welcome in. Thank you everyone for joining. Can we talk about how good rotisserie chicken from Costco is? The Costco chickens is it still $5 or $6? I don't remember which one it is an incredible deal. And honestly, like, every time we go to Costco now, like, pretty much every time we go to Costco, we pick up an extra chicken to donate to the local free fridge, which is a place where anyone can just come and pick up any food if they need food. Because it's just, it's such a good deal, and it's one of those things where, like, I know that beggars can't be choosers, right? I understand that saying. I understand where that comes from and all that. But, like, it's gotta get old if you're struggling to feed your family and can't afford certain foods. Like, everyone donates macaroni and cheese. Everyone donates top ramen. Everyone donates, you know, the standard things. So having something that's a little bit not standard must be, like, such a relief. Like, even as a former fat kid who loved top ramen and loved macaroni and cheese out of a box, like, it's gotta get old after a certain point, right? Like, there has to be a limit where you hit it and say, I am no longer enjoying these foods. And I mean, I completely understand that, right? Like, I mean, it's so good. I try to buy in bulk when we go, shred it, and put it in the freezer. It makes for super good chicken dumplings, chicken soup, and taquitos. Emmy makes some pretty amazing taquitos out of it. I love when we go to Costco, because it means we're getting some really good food for a while. Got 2 today. Costco food is cheap, but you don't need a card for it. So I know we've talked about this before, having, like, a homeless plan, and that involving getting, like, a gym membership for $10 so that you can access someplace safe to work out, to shower, to just exist. And Costco definitely is on that list as well, being able to just purchase a hot dog for $1.50 and get water and sustenance for $1.50 is just amazing. But also super underrated is the library. And, like, I used to be a big hater of the library because I was, you know, super Republican kid. And that's what you do, right? You hate the library because, oh, well, all it does is lose money, and what service does it really offer the community? And Emmy and I have been going to the library a lot more, and I realize how amazing it is. Like, our local library has Dungeons and Dragons books for, like, people who want to play Dungeons and Dragons but can't afford all the books. That's awesome. Today we found out they had, like, ukuleles, little violins, laptops, binoculars, all things you could rent and check out from the library. It's like, how awesome is that? Like, say you want to be a bird watcher. Binoculars are not cheap, so being able to rent binoculars to go do, you know, the local baseball game at the park or the local bird watching scene or whatever it may be, like, that is an amazing benefit for the community. So I'm becoming a bigger and bigger fan of the library every day. And like one of the things, and it's one of those things that I know that people are like, oh well, if the homeless people are so bored, then they should do something about. But I gotta imagine, like, boredom has to be one of the things you're fighting when you're homeless, right? There's only so many things you can do in the hours of the day. And it's not like applying for jobs is going to change anything, right? You can apply for 500 jobs in one day and not hear a single callback. So, okay, you've applied for your jobs. What are you going to do now? People don't want to see you out on the streets. People don't want to see you begging. People don't want to have to look at you. So, what else? What else do you do all day? There's 24 hours in a day. You can only sleep so many of them, and people hate to see homeless people walking around or just existing, so what else are you going to do? Emmy can confirm on the job hunt. It's brutal out there. So having a place that you can just be safe and read or be warm, indulge in ukulele playing or, you know, using the internet, things like that, like, that's needed in our community. It's so good. Bang Bang Chicken, Boom Boom Chicken. Okay, something we're gonna have to try. My mom sent me a recipe we're gonna try that's supposed to taste exactly like Chef Boyardee raviolis, and I am super excited for that. I love Chef Boyardee raviolis, and we're gonna try and make our own Chef Boyardee raviolis, and I'm super excited for it. super excited to try it. It's one of my guilty pleasures. And like, you don't even have to like warm them up. Like, you can eat Chef Boyardee ravioli out of the can like Popeye. Like, you just pop it open and drink the can and get the, it's like boba, right? Like the raviolis pop in your mouth like a boba full of delicious flavor and preservatives. Waffle time! Welcome in, Edgar. I know that not everyone is a fan of that, but I am a fan of the Popeye ravioli combo. Definitely worth your time. I also had a thought today that I know all y'all are going to absolutely hate. And I should probably wait for Dexter to get here because I know it'll cause Dexter to roll his eyes. But here we go. Embarrassing lack of knowledge around movies, media, all that sort of thing. So I used to, and still do, love Limp Bizkit. I can't get enough of Limp Bizkit's music, and I know that already is like terrible music opinion. But of course, as a teenager, I loved Limp Bizkit even more. And Limp Bizkit did a rendition of Behind Blue Eyes. And I think he did a bang-up job on it. I know, say what you want about Limp Bizkit. I understand the hate for him. But his rendition of Behind Blue Eyes is incredible. I think it's one of the best covers of all time. And I think, honestly, he did it better than the original artist. However, I did not know that he was not the original artist because he was the first time I ever heard that song. And so my parents are sitting in the living room and they're watching American Idol. And Behind Blue Eyes comes on. So I run into the room and I was like, oh, I love this song. And my parents were like, oh, we love this song too. I was like, do you even know who this is? Because, like, parents aren't supposed to like Limp Bizkit. I was like, you don't like this. This is Limp Bizkit. You won't like Limp Bizkit. And then they laughed at me. To this day, I could not tell you who the original artist is who does Behind Blue Eyes, but I can tell you for a fact that it is not Limp Bizkit who is the original artist of Behind Blue Eyes. So there is my embarrassing musical not knowing things of the day. It was when I embarrassed myself in front of my parents saying that Limp Bizkit sang Behind Blue Eyes originally. Also on that topic of massive disappointment, I well, it was excusable as a child. I was like 15, so I know that now as like a 30-year-old, I'm like, oh, that's not that old. But you know, at the time. So I used to be a huge Metallica fan. I've kind of tapered off, honestly, lately. As I get older, you know, Metallica not quite as exciting as it once was, but I used to love Metallica. And I found out too late that basically every song that I love from Metallica is not Metallica's song. Like, my favorite albums that Metallica put out were the Load and Reload, which I didn't find out until much later was basically them just covering all other artists. So they did Whiskey in the Jar. I love their rendition of Whiskey in the Jar. Again, I think their rendition of Whiskey in the Jar is much better than the original artist. But, you know, they did some Danzig songs. I loved them. So it turns out that my love for Metallica was basically a lie, because it turns out that I loved all these other artists who they were just covering. The exception to that is Metallica's best album. Their absolute best album that you will not convince me otherwise on is Saint Anger. And I know that makes a lot of people mad. They think Saint Anger is the worst album. But I stand by, like, Saint Anger they made when they were trying to get off drugs, when they were trying to, you know, make passionate music, when they were trying to change everything. And so there is nothing more raw and metal and more Metallica than, like, the pain and soul and anguish that comes through on Saint Anger. To me, that is the best Metallica will ever be. And again, I know that's like the most unpopular Metallica. It's like saying the Black Album sucks, right? Like, that's the most unpopular opinion you could possibly come up with, but I stand by it. Emmy redeeming everything today, all the sounds and hats. I can put on a hat in just a second. This sound.
Enough! I will try some already. Hey, these aren't bad. What
Oh, I'm gonna sneeze, maybe.
You're lying!
Waffles. Saint Waffles. Waffles. Saint Waffles. It is time once again for your daily suggested serving of waffles.
Love that sound. Sister got a ticket for going 109 and a 65. Well, if all she got was a ticket, she'll be lucky. I don't know if this is true or not, but you know, this was what my brother always told me back in his, you know, days of street racing and all that. That anything over 100 miles an hour is a potential felony for reckless driving. So, you know, a ticket is bad, but honestly, you know, felony reckless driving is worse. So,
Not bad.
Dexter's here. Welcome in, Dexter. You missed all the super fun musical time stuff. So I don't know if that's actually true or not, though. You know, obviously I'm not a lawyer. I'm not here to give legal advice, but that's what I was always told, that anything over 100 is a felony. So keep it under 100. And I know that Gabriel Iglesias does a joke about that too. About, you know, he's going over 100 miles per hour and he's worried about his car getting towed because at a certain point they just like take your car away and say no more car. You just don't get it. Gonna be sad for her when she gets her license taken away and my narcissistic mother can't make her do things for her anymore. Meanwhile, my sister gets a ticket for parking too far out of our driveway for less than 5 minutes. Yeah, code enforcement's a weird thing, because, like, we had something out on our porch for, like, 5 days while we were waiting to take it to the dump, and they came by and was like, nope, you can't have something on your porch that's not furniture. We're gonna fine you if you don't remove it. And then when our fence got tagged by little gangsters, they're like, nope, you have graffiti on your fence and you need to remove that graffiti because it's offensive. Like, you're not going out and trying to catch the people who are committing the crime, but you're gonna punish me for being a victim of a crime? Like, makes no sense. I think it's something like that. It changes from speeding to reckless endangerment or something. It's either at 100 miles per hour or like 60 over the limit. One or the other is what causes it to change from one into the other. And you definitely don't want the other, right? Like, that's where things get bad. Right after she got her license. Yeah, your sister was definitely unlucky with that one. That's probably why the lawyer's there. Definitely. I mean, if you can afford it, a lawyer is almost always the way to go, right? And that's one of those, like, unfair things of the class, right? Like, you can get your speeding tickets talked down, and you can pay less for your speeding tickets. And if you can afford a lawyer to do it, then you're almost assuredly going to get much less fines if you have a lawyer. Well, it's one of those things where, like, only people who have money to afford a lawyer can afford a lawyer, so it's one of those where the rich people get less of fines because they can afford a lawyer, and the poor people, the people who need a break on the fines, can't get it because they can't afford a break on the fines. It seems so unfair. Right? But then also, like, I know people talk about, oh, well, we should do, like, an income-based thing where your tickets are based on a percentage of your income. And while that definitely would deter people, like, if you've got a speeding ticket and you had to pay, say, $500,000 based on your income for getting a speeding ticket, that would definitely deter people from speeding. I don't contest that. But we also have laws against unfair and unjust punishment, right? And so getting a $500,000 ticket, I think, qualifies as a very unfair and unjust punishment. As much as, you know, I don't like people hoarding money and all the things that rich people do, you also have to be fair and make laws for everyone, right? You can't just say, I don't like you, so the laws are going to affect you more, because that's how you get, you know, fascism and other terrible things. So, as much as I'm a fan of the idea of tickets that change based on income, I understand why they are not necessarily the most fair thing in the world. Random fact. Ooh, let's see. Let's think of a good random fact for today. Okay, this is going to be a factoid in that I don't actually know that it's 100% a fact, but I've heard it so many times, and it seems to be supported that it seems like it is a fact. And that is that most people seem to claim that cats do not meow in the wild when they're no longer kittens. That cats have learned to meow as a form of manipulation against people, and they learned that if they make cute meowing noises at you, you're more likely to feed them and give them all the things that they want. There's also the same people who say that cat poop has a special, basically like a little parasite enzyme thing in it, that when you touch it, it goes into your brain and makes you more susceptible to the cuteness that is cats. And I know that sounds like The Last of Us, that sounds like complete pure fiction, but it appears that there is some interesting data that may suggest that cats do have minor mind control abilities. Speaking of meowing, we heard a crow meowing for the first time. That is true. We were walking around Astoria, and there was a crow that was following us and meowing. So we Googled it, like, oh, is that crow, like, sick or something? But no, that's just crows apparently learn to meow because they get things for it. It's just another one of those crazy things that happens in the wild. Birds are crazy. Birds got so many cool things with them, like the birds that can do perfect mimicking of sound, and big fan of those birds. There was also something else. There's another weird fact or something. Oh, not a weird fact, but I was listening to a psychologist on the radio who was talking about how our dopamine levels are all sorts of crazy messed up because of the world we live in and cell phones and all of that. And they were saying that they found in their studies, people who did a 4-week dopamine fast said that they were much happier and less depressed. So I'm thinking about trying it. Another interesting fact or factoid. Factoid changed to mean mini or slight fact. It originally meant a lie that was presented as a fact or widely believed idea that wasn't true. That was like the Snapple factoids, right? That's basically what Snapple built their whole thing on. But this psychologist was talking about a dopamine fast. Basically, it means no mind-altering substances, no smoking, no cell phone for 4 weeks. And if you can do that, then you'll be much happier.
Where have you been hiding?
And like, so I quit smoking cold turkey. I quit sugar cold turkey. I lived with my guts hanging out of my body for 15 years of immense pain. Like, I have a vast amount of sheer self-will and desire. And I think that that might be a darn near impossible challenge. So I was talking to Emmy about it, and I'm thinking about trying it. I'm thinking about that once Lent is over, because I've already given up other stuff for Lent, right? So once Lent is over, I'm thinking about trying it, doing 4 weeks without a cell phone. I will keep it like, I'll delete all the apps, but I'll be able to, use it as a GPS when we travel somewhere, and I can use it to text Emmy, and that will be it. 4 weeks of no cell phone and documenting how that impacts my mood, my happiness, everything else. And I need a little bit of time to prepare for this, because like the big thing is like my screen time says something like between like 5 and 6 hours a day. Like I use my phone too much. I fully acknowledge that. So what am I going to fill 6 hours of the day with if I'm not on cell phone? Cell phone for internet, exactly. No Reddit, no Facebook, no social media, no Discord. Like, I'll keep the phone for texting people, but that's basically it. And maybe using it like a Switch for playing games, but like that's still 5 or 6 hours a day that you have to fill. That's a lot of time, and I just don't know what am I going to fill that said time with. That is an amazing amount of time that I'm going to get back, which is great. But what do you do with all that time? So I'm going to start preparing, but I really think I'm going to try this challenge. And I will keep, of course, my camera and stuff, not my cell phone camera, but my actual camera, and make some YouTube videos documenting said journey. And it's not like I can't give up like electronics overall, mostly because I work with electronics for 10 hours a day. So it's not like I can give that up, because that's just, I can't get another job. Believe me, I've tried. But the no cell phone might be a really hard and interesting challenge. And what does that say? What does that say about cell phones if I can live in the immense amount of pain that I was living in for all those years, and I can give up sugar, and I can give up smoking, but cell phones is the one that breaks me, if that's the one that I can't do, like how dangerously addictive and terrible are cell phones if that's the one that I can't do? I can live with my guts hanging out of my body, but I can't go 4 weeks without a cell phone. That should say something. So we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna experiment with this. I think it'd be an interesting one. cell phones have gone a long way these past years. That's the problem, is that cell phones can do anything. And like, there was another article I was reading in Psychology Today about why there are so many single men, and it's like an outrageously different number. Like something like 60% of males under 30 are like single, just permanently single. And so those numbers are disproportionate, and they're trying to figure out desperately, like, what is causing this? What is causing this mass unfairness? Why are so many people single? And one of the conclusions that they're coming to, that they think they can back up with a little bit of certainty, is that cell phones provide everything you could possibly want. Like, basically, people have to ask, if I can get my explicit self-gratifying images off the internet, and I can talk to anyone at any time on the internet, what do I need a relationship for? If the cell phone takes care of absolutely all of my needs, then what do I need a relationship for? And that's what they're finding so many men are saying, is just like, I don't need all the stuff that comes with a relationship, because my cell phone gives me everything I could possibly want out of a relationship. The other factor on the equation I think is equally interesting is they're talking about how a lot of women have changed what they're looking for in a relationship, that it's not as big of a priority anymore, and they're focused on, career and other things, which is great, but they're also saying, that, men don't bring as much to the relationship. And this is something I know I preach a lot of when we talk about relationships, is there's all these men who feel like, well, I make money and I'm not going to hit you, so that's good enough. And the answer is no longer. That's not good enough. You can't just provide money and nothing else. They want more out of relationships. And I think that's completely fair to ask for, and say it's not enough just to say that we're going to do the bare minimum, right? So it's interesting to see. I think that's a huge part of the dynamic, and it's the number one thing, like I said, when I talk about this with people, that's the number one thing I bring up, is when someone posts on Reddit, because I spend too much time on Reddit, say, oh, well, no women love me, why can't I find someone to love me? And I say, okay, well, what are you offering in a relationship? I said, well, I'll love my girlfriend. That's not really offering something. Granted, there are a lot of terrible relationships out there, but that's kind of a given, right? It's kind of the bare minimum, that's saying that if I'm going to be in a relationship with you, you have to love me. Like, that's square one. So if all you can offer is the bare minimum, why would anyone want to date you? And I know that's harsh words to hear, but it's absolutely the truth, that you can't just offer the bare minimum anymore. People are needing much more, and it's hard out here right now, right? You don't want to, with rent and the cost of everything else, you don't want to be caught out here doing it alone, so you want someone who else can support and do other things that are emotionally available, they're intelligent, or have something more to offer than just, well, I'll love you. Like, you gotta do more. And I don't think that's unreasonable for people to ask for. I think that's definitely reasonable. But the bare minimum is my bread and butter. For some people, it really is. It's just... there was one person I was talking to, again, on Reddit, because they were asking about their relationship and relationship advice and all that from a Christian perspective. And they literally said, well, my boyfriend is the perfect man for me. So we said, okay, why is he the perfect man for you? And this was why they thought their boyfriend was perfect. They said that he's tall, he's handsome, and he doesn't beat me. Like, that is the most sad thing I've ever heard. That is your list of a perfect partner, is tall and handsome and doesn't beat you? Like, that's all you're asking for out of a relationship? Like, I was so sad for this person, and I told them, like, your list is shallow and awful, and you need to think better of yourself, that if that person's perfect for you, you need to do better. You need to do better. And they didn't want to hear it, but I really think they needed to hear it. So for all of my fans and listeners and everyone else out there, Please ask for more out of a relationship than tall, handsome, and doesn't abuse me. You can ask for more than that. Just outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. And it's going to be hard to give that up, because another reason why I spend so much time on Reddit and other places, I do genuinely like try to offer good advice and help guide people through Christianity and to Catholicism, and share some of the stuff. You know, I want to be an apologist. I want to learn apologists very well. So it's something I want to do to help people. So I try and spend some time there to guide people away. And if you've spent any time on Reddit Christianity, you'll know that Reddit is just the absolute worst place in the world to learn Christianity. Like, hands down. You can't go more than 2 posts without finding heresy on Reddit. So don't learn your Christianity from Reddit. That's a terrible idea. I feel like the reason I'm not in a relationship yet is because I'm not ready. That is a completely valid statement. And I think that's a very mature statement that more people need to take a look at and say, do you want to be in a relationship because you're lonely? Or do you have something you want to offer or get, you know, from this companionship? And I think saying I'm not ready to offer this emotional availability, this part of me yet, is a completely valid thing that more people should do. That more people should be willing to offer that humility to and honesty. So good for you. Very good for you. I think it takes a lot to say I'm not ready to offer this part of me, and I think that's big for guys, because, you know, guys and emotional availability isn't always standard. So being able to admit that I'm not emotionally ready for that is a huge thing. On sort of, kind of, sort of, not really, but I'm gonna make this segue. So forgive me for this segue. On the topic of emotional availability, have y'all seen the things Andrew Tate has been tweeting out of prison? Because they are absolutely ridiculous. And again, I don't know if these are actually true or not, because it comes from the internet, so I hope these are true, because it should expose to people that they should not be listening to this dude. But so he's in prison, allegedly, for allegations of human trafficking. I tried to avoid everything Andrew Tate. Oh, you definitely should, 100%. But this is worth talking about. So he's in prison for human trafficking, allegedly. And so he's been posting on a cell phone, which how he got a cell phone in prison, I don't know. I don't know how that works. But one of his tweets was essentially something close to, I woke up in the morning in a cold sweat because there was a demon in my cell. But don't worry, I beat the demon and told him as he went back to hell to tell the devil to fear me. Like, this fake, super tough guy. Oh, I'm so tough I can beat up demons, and I'm telling the devil to beware of me. Like, such an obvious, like, fake, I'm so macho, I am very badass. Like, so sad. So very sad. And then he posted another thing that was like, you know, I've been in prison so long I don't even recognize myself in the mirror, and that's when I realized that they're trying to break me and I won't let them. Like, dude's only been in prison for like a week or two. Like, compared to the people who've spent 20, 30 years in prison, that's nothing, for one. But also, like, what is this I'm the victim mentality? Like, is he really gonna go in there with the, like, well, yeah, I was trafficking women, but you know, you were trying to break me in prison. Like, is that really gonna be the platform he's gonna try and run on? Is that prison tried to break me, but I'm so alpha that I out-toughed prison? Is that really what we're gonna see in this saga? I really hope not, but I'm pretty sure that's what we're gonna get out of this. I'm not excited for that, but we'll see what comes next in this saga. But you are right, you are right. I think trying to avoid seeing anything Andrew Tate in your life is probably the best. He's the alpha of my dreams. I'm honestly surprised they allow him to post stuff to go online in prison. Well, if it's anything like... I'm pretty sure he's like in Romania, I think. Don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure that like he's sneaking the cell phone in. Because like even in America, you're not allowed to have a cell phone in prison. But if you bribe the right guards or talk to the right people, you can get a cell phone in your cell, right? So it's not impossible. Alpha's clinging onto this victim mentality is so cringe. Why does everybody try so hard to be oppressed? That's the thing is, like, the only way people like him make money are when people buy his stuff and buy into his whole thing, right? So I'm pretty sure that's the only way he can make money now is trying to play the victim card of, I don't belong in prison. I'm just so alpha that they had to shut me down. Like, that's the only way he's going to be able to monetize this. And how sad is that, right? I know we talk about, like, over-monetizing things and, like, how sad it is that you can't have a side hustle anymore because everything's turned into how do I monetize it. But, like, literally, are we trying to figure out how to monetize prison now? Like, is the grind and hustle culture so far gone that your first thought when you go to prison is, well, how am I going to make money off of going to prison? Like, that should not be what's crossing your mind if you go to prison, right? There's a million other things that you should be worried about, and how am I going to make money off this should not be one of your first thoughts when going to prison. But I guess, what do I know? I am not an expert. I've never been, so I guess maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, apparently I haven't claimed my rewards in a while, so let's claim some rewards. Been a long while since I've claimed my rewards. Alright. That means we get some wishes. We got 12 wishes out of that. Look at that. Ooh. You've never been to prison? That's shocking. I know. This physique would tell you that I'm a hardened criminal, but I'm not. Alright. Let the wishing begin. I've worked in a prison, if that counts. Dexter, I've been to prison? Like, Monopoly, just visiting? What? Why was the peach symbol blocked for swearing? I've never been to prison. Can I brag about that? My chat has never been to prison. I have the most well-behaved chat. None of them have ever been to prison. How many big streamers can say that? Because it means booty. All right, we got someone. That's not who we wanted, but we got something. And a bunch of junk. Left after 4 months. I don't blame you for that. Ooh. Oh, I already have that. What a ripoff. I already have that weapon. Wow. What garbage pulls. Man. It's kind of a bummer.
Cold beer after a hard day's work. Nothing like it.
Did I tell you about my PS5 woes? I don't think you did. What kind of PS5 woes? Alright, I guess we can do this to get some gems. Let's try the trial, I guess. There's a psychiatric prison, so like all the people that murdered their families who were waiting to be deemed sane to stand trial waited there. Alright, so let's try the new character out here. Okay, Claymore user. Long story short, I decided to treat myself and got the PS5, and it came broken.
You asked for it.
Like, what kind of broken? Okay, that's a pretty awesome special. Very monk, I'm punching everyone.
Oh, so sorry.
I like that. Yeah, can you get it replaced? Like, what came broken? I know you're not the first person to have that happen, but that's definitely, like, with how hard it's been to find a PS5, getting it broken is just awful. I had to fight them on it, but they've agreed to repair it. The disk drive doesn't work. It makes a really loud noise when I put a disc in. Oh. That's awful. I'm sorry. That really sucks. With how hard it's been to get a PS5, like, I couldn't imagine the hype of getting it finally and then it not working. Like, at least you can still download games, but like...
Precious source of drink.
Yeah. Alright, let's claim that, and let's try this guy out. Everyone says to go digital, but I'm too old to trust that. I don't think I would trust the digital either. I think you're making the right choice. I got a physical PS5 too, and I definitely prefer the physical edition. Not that it matters nowadays, because every game when you go to download it anyways, you know, still makes you download the entire thing, but here we are. But there's also, like, wasn't there a scandal, was it Ubisoft or someone like that, who was basically saying, like, even though you bought the digital version of the game, we're no longer supporting that, so you're going to lose access to the digital version of the game. So, like, even if you have it digital, it doesn't mean you have it forever, which is also just absolutely terrible. But, so, physical's the way to go. Not to mention, in 50 years, maybe it'll have some resale value. Apparently there's a class action lawsuit in the works against Sony for PS5 problems. Interesting. I have not heard that. Alright, we got enough gems. We scraped together enough gems for one more wish. So, we're that desperate for wishes, because I'm not allowed to buy any. So we're gonna scrape together what little gems we can for just one more wish. Just one more. Last wish, I promise. Just one more. I heard they get drifty controllers too. I think basically pretty much every modern controller gets drift now at this point, right? Like, it definitely depends on how long it takes for them to get drift, but pretty much everyone gets drift at some point now, with, you know, Nintendo Joy-Cons being the absolute worst. Versus, like, this is a Razer controller I've had for probably 3 years now, and it's just now starting to develop a little bit of drift, so... Can't believe they ripped that off from Nintendo, blatant stealing. I bought Spider-Man, Avengers, controller on PS4, specifically playing on PS5. Spider-Man is worth it. God of War is worth it. I'm not a huge fan of... I can't remember what it's called now. The game with Aloy. Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I acknowledge that it's a good game. Honestly, if you haven't yet, Astro's Playroom is like the free demo that comes with the game that like lets you show off the controller. Astro's Playroom is a surprisingly good, solid PS5 title. Returnal was really good, but hard, so if you're not into hard games, not that one. Astro's was shockingly fun. Like, I did not think Astro's Playroom was going to be as fun as it was, but it was really fun. And I think it's free, so if you can get it for free, you might as well, right? Like, as I'm playing a free game, free is the best. Download Life is Strange, excited to play that. I'm not a fan of it, but I do acknowledge that it's a pretty good game. Been thinking about getting it on Switch forever. Don't forget, you can turn your cell phone into a Switch now, basically. You can do PS5 remote play and play your PS5 on your cell phone pretty reliably. It works pretty good. So, don't forget to enable and learn that feature, because it's pretty good. Well worth it.
I'll protect us. To ashes.
You can play PS5 games on your phone. Yeah, if you've got a PS5, you can enable remote play, and it lets you play your PS5 games on your phone and on your PlayStation and on your PC. That's how I've been streaming Harry Potter, actually, is Harry Potter is on my PS5, streamed to my PC, and then streamed from the PC to all y'all. So, I actually got, like, I never understood mobile gaming, but I got serious enough about mobile gaming this year that I got myself a backbone for playing. It's a controller that plugs into your phone that makes it better, and it is better. Yeah, cell phones are insane, which goes back to the whole, you know, why would I date anyone when my cell phone and the internet can literally do everything that I want it to do? So, add that to the list of problems. These enemies are too hard. I accidentally leveled up too much, I think, and now everyone's at a little bit too hard to take down. Or I gotta get better. One or the other. I don't know which one it is yet, I guess. I'm totally gonna forego women because of Angry Birds. Maybe not Angry Birds, but like, didn't the creator of like Flappy Bird take it down because he said he was ruining so many lives with it, and he couldn't take the pressure anymore of knowing that he created the app that's ruining people's lives? Or was that just one of those internet rumors? I feel like I remember that being said, but I don't know it's actually true. I'm pretty sure that's like 90% of what I say, though, is like, I heard this from the internet, but I can't confirm whether or not it's true. The only mobile game I play is Mario Kart Tour and Bloons. I am a sucker for incremental games, and I know this is going to sound lame, but I absolutely love games like Farmville, where it's like, you have to get the dairy to get the cow to get the milk to be able to make the bread. The bread makes a sandwich. The sandwich then turns into, you know, the goat, and then the goat turns into goat cheese, and so on and so forth. Like, games that do that are so addicting to me. So those are the games that those are my guilty pleasure games. And then obviously Genshin Impact is a mobile game that I play. But I absolutely love the slow. It's called incremental gaming, where you just slowly, increment by increment, increase your base, or you'll get more and more things. Idle games also, love me some idle games. Tetris is my all-time favorite. Nothing wrong with a classic. You can't go wrong with the classics. Tetris is a certified classic. Remember when Maxis EA came out with Spore and it was groundbreaking? Spore was one of the first big tastes of gaming disappointment that I feel that people got, because there was so much promised. And like, the very beginning gameplay of Spore is the best. Like, the playing as the little fish, eating the bigger fishes and growing, like, that is the best part of Spore. After, like, Civilization 2 or 3, like, there's no more point in playing the game. But, like, the first two stages of Spore are amazing. Exactly. I enjoy the beginning, but the end was That's exactly what it is. Like, the start is so much fun, and then and then nothing,
You look kind of familiar.
and then
You a
disappointment.
famous adventurer or something? Oh, all right then. I'll start by
I don't know how they ruined it so bad.
A miner, and I received a mining permit for the chasm just recently. I have a handful of other guys in my crew.
Seriously? They actually give permits out for the castle?
You know what I've been craving a lot, though?
Yes, the folks over
I've
at
been
UG
wanting to get,
finally
like, a
came to their
PlayStation
senses
2
and are now allowing a limited
or
number
an
of mining
Xbox to play
services.
some really older Xbox games. I've been really craving playing
But
Viva
some things have
Pinata.
happened recently
I
that
absolutely
blow my
loved
mind.
Viva Pinata, so I want to play Viva Pinata again.
We haven't heard
And Way of the Samurai. I feel like Way of the Samurai is one of the most underrated
It's
games
hard to say
ever.
exactly
Like,
how big of an issue it is.
it was one of the
Could be
first
something,
roguelike
nothing.
games.
The main thing
It
is
had
that it's just
amazing
very
story choices,
strange.
deep, complex
All the
weapons and
miners operate,
crafting.
he suddenly
Like,
lost
Way of the
everything
Samurai
and
might
walked
be
away.
the most
They seemed to
underrated
want
game of all
to
time.
They walked right by him without
It
getting
paved the way for other Civilization Rising games. It did. Spore crawled so everyone else could walk. But I'm going to go on record. That is my official, probably bad opinion of the day.
Are they hilly
Way of the
trails?
Samurai is the most underrated game series of all time. Funny you say that. I've been watching two streamers play Viva Pinata. It's whimsical. It's got the right amount of good music, fun dialogue, silliness, but also like serious gameplay that actually works well. I loved Viva Pinata. I wish we'd get another Viva Pinata.
What are these hilly trolls up to? What happens to them after they go inside? Is there a
Tenchu, I
disaster?
want to. So Tenchu Z,
These are the kinds of thoughts going
Black,
through guys' heads now.
Viva
Everyone's driving
Pinata,
themselves crazy.
Way of the Samurai.
Paimon's not surprised. Paimon feels spooked just
Those are the games that I really want to play from the old days.
Exactly.
I haven't touched my 360 in forever.
You know?
360 was the changing point. That's where we got into the modern day games, is what everyone says. But
Do we?
there were some great gems on 360.
Thanks.
I'm not going to count Halo.
You can
I don't think Halo was ever good. Like, Halo 1 and 2 had good multiplayer. And I know I played the campaign a whole lot, but that was just because it was fun couch co-op. But on its own, I don't think, like, as a single-player shooter,
You'll really regret it
I
if you
don't think
go.
Halo was that good. And I don't think that any of the other Halos really
No pressure,
built
but I
upon
gotta say,
anything. Like, yes, it was one of the first games that had, like, the regenerating shields that we see now, but is that really a good thing? Is the whole regenerating shield and vulnerability thing really that good for gaming? Because I would contest that it's
let me give you
not.
the rough location that the hilly trolls keep heading to.
Or maybe I'm just a Halo hater. I don't know. I was never very good at it, so it could possibly be that too, but my airport fell off on the couch and it's lost forever. I have no idea where it went. I'm guessing AirPod? Not airport? Just a guess. But yeah, my AirPods fall out of my ear all the time too. I know they say they're designed so they won't fall out, but my AirPods fall out of my ears all the time. And honestly, I was thinking about upgrading to the AirPod Maxes just for the comfort and convenience, but $600 headphones or $500 headphones? Like, I know Apple is premium and expensive, but
Nice. I'm starting.
I think
to
it's a
freak
little
out.
ridiculous. Like, you can get a Bose headset for cheaper than that. And, like, Bose, and you can get a Sennheiser, which is, like, the most premium sound out there. Like, why in the world are they so expensive, Apple? It's outrageous. I got a $12 pair off of Amazon, the same as my AirPods. That is the curse of Apple. Let's stop playing. Apple's no longer premium. They like to think that they are, but you're absolutely right about that. They are no longer premium, they are just expensive. It's like 4K audio for $500. And they're like, AirPod Max are so easy to identify that apparently they're making people an easy target in like European countries. People are literally just like driving by on mopeds and stealing the headphones like right off your head because you're an easy target. So yeah, the advantages for AirPod Max seem very, very far and few in between. If you can think of a good reason to have them, more power to you, but I really struggle to think of any reason to pay that much money for a pair of headphones. I'm happy with my $12 dupe. Like, I have authentic AirPods, don't get me wrong, I like them, but still, even for the $170 they cost, you'd be hard-pressed to convince me that it's better than a $20 headset. I will say for hands-free talking, it is a lifesaver. They definitely do have a good mic, but... Oh, a spider. Spider that hurts me. Guess we'll burn its web down. If they get lost or broken, it's not a big deal. Yeah, that if you lose a $100 AirPod, that hurts. That definitely hurts. I have real ones too. The left ear speaker is like half broken and the right one disconnects. Oh, you could take it to Apple and I'm sure they'd be happy to fix it for $200. I just found out that 16-inch outdoor projectors exist. Actually, Emmy and I were talking about that at some point, about getting a outdoor projector for like doing spooky movies in the forest when we go camping. I definitely think that would be super fun to play horror movies out in the wilderness, but also like I'm pretty sure that you can't play a horror movie when you're out in the forest because people will hear the said screaming and then, you know, think something's wrong or bad. So I'm not exactly sure on that one. I'm pretty sure there's got to be some sort of law or something against it. Y'all are just asking to die. Well, we talked about going camping more, but then we got back from camping. So this is how you know that you're old. When you need a vacation from your vacation to recover from said vacation is how you know that you're old, because that's exactly what happened. Like, we got back and my back hurt from laying on the cot because it wasn't the best bed in the world, and then it took like 3 days to recover from that. So you're not old. I felt old, and it's what's in your mind. Oh, what did I miss? We were talking about our idea to get a projector and play horror movies out in the forest when we go camping, and how that's probably not a great idea because, you know, screaming in the forest and all that. But and then I was saying how old I felt after getting home from camping and we needed to recover from camping. I got canceled 12 times. I have not been attempted to get canceled yet, but I did have that hate raid, so, you know, we're making it big. And surprisingly, I never got hate rated for playing Harry Potter. I know that was going around for a while, but apparently I'm just not popular enough to get hate rated for playing Harry Potter on stream, so maybe good, maybe bad. Not sure which category that falls under. Getting my name out there. We're slowly making progress. The waffle family is slowly growing and expanding. I'm hoping I got a couple little like film ideas I want to shoot here soon. So I'm hoping some of those will do well, and maybe people will see them, know of me, that sort of thing. I guess we'll have to see. Hey, we got a treasure chest.
The more the merrier. First round's on me.
I want to do one that's, I want to do like a gun commercial, but instead of a gun, it's a rosary. I'm not sure on that one. Emmy said it might not be a good idea, and I tend to agree with her on that one. In today's climate, that sort of thing could easily not go well, but we'll see. We'll see.
Huh, where have you been hiding?
I also want to do some interviews with people. I'd still love to do some stuff with the other Abbeys, but they've never gotten back to me. Maybe I need to go pester them again.
Scatter!
Beg them to let me come out and interview the monks and talk about the fudge or whatever else it is they do. It says question mark is talking. Probably that person over there. Alright. This guy is upset that I'm picking flowers. If he's going to fight me over the flowers, I'll be very, very excited to beat him up for flowers. Come on, let me fight you over the flowers.
Guess we're doing this.
Yes! Gotta beat this guy up over a couple flowers. Look at that, 10,000 damage. That's the first time I think I've broken 10,000 damage. We're making progress. Let's shove this guy off the cliff. Alright, that did not end as climactically as I thought it would. Jade pendant. Sold to you by an old friend. Question is, does this mean anything? Should I bother reading this? Is this going to be anything of value here? Exchange it for something of equal value, like a gem the size of a pigeon egg. My guilty pleasure show of the week is the season of Married at First Sight that dropped on Netflix. I don't think I've seen that at all. We did try to watch How I Met Your Father, like the follow-up to How I Met Your Mother, How I Met Your Father, but I think we made that about 5 minutes in before we turned it off. Like, I'm pretty sure we could make it farther into Velma than we could How I Met Your Father. It was just trying so hard, right? Like the whole, like every modern love story, it starts with Tinder. Like that sets the mood for the entire show, and it's just, I only made it half an episode through that one. Yeah, it seemed to be lacking as a show. Tom and Jerry, you can't go wrong with the old stuff, the new stuff. It's all good. All right, last thing, we're jumping down here. Oh, no, I did not mean to click that button. Cancel. Well, oh, I guess I didn't die. So I did not mean to do that, but it worked out. We just got to get this teleporter unlocked. Excellent. All right. My hour is up. So let us do a quick prayer and end our session together. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Lord, today we pray for all those on my prayer journal, all those for those intentions that are silent or not known to others. I pray for my grandfather who is struggling with cancer. I pray for those who are hungry, those who are starving, those who go without, those who are out in the elements right now without shelter. Lord, be with them. Lord, I pray for the Pope and the Council of the Catholic Church to make right decisions and good decisions to lead the church forward. And Lord, we pray for those who are currently in purgatory, those who have no one left to pray for them, those who need prayers the most to enter into thy kingdom and everlasting love. All this we pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Last question, what does guilty pleasure mean? It usually means that it's something that you enjoy that you're not really proud of enjoying or that you're not really supposed to like. So like some people might say like a kid's cartoon might be their guilty pleasure because it's a kid's cartoon and you're not supposed to like those, or like, you know, if you're not supposed to eat ice cream, then ice cream could be your guilty pleasure because you're not supposed to have it. There's a lot of things that can be a guilty pleasure. Dexter's got it right. Everyone have a great night, a blessed evening. Thank you for dropping by, and we will see you later this week. Thank you again all so much, and we'll see you soon.